Hey
there
guys.
we go. I'm good.
Oh, he got it. Chilla's been fighting with technology over there.
Well, you'll never believe what I did to fix it.
Turn it off and back on again?
I turned the monitor off and back on again.
That's why he's the tech expert here.
I almost called Chachi for help. But, I thought to myself, what would Chachi do?
Put a pickle on it.
Put a pickle on it.
I don't know how much it's going to help. Katie, how you doing?
Good.
You didn't have to go anywhere today, right?
No, I was very confused. Today's also my worst pain day.
Oh.
So I took all my medications. I'm all medicated, so it's okay. It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
I have apparently been sitting not well. And I just laid on the floor for like 20 minutes to hope it would help out a little bit. It's been a nagging thing for a couple of days. I had to cut the show short last night because I'm like, I can't sit here anymore. I gotta get out of here.
No. You're like
So,
my ass hurt.
you ready for double podcast night? All right. So if you guys are ready, I should probably get an awesome thing. I'll just pull something from the store.
I'm working on it.
We're all like, hey, we're here. Hey.
Wait a minute.
That's all I got. That's all I got. We don't have any video spots this week. That's later. We are debuting a music video tonight that Matt Carlin's put together on the Mayhem Show. So that's going to be fun. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I got into something this week, but no, I talked about the S8 and streaming stuff last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
About the Xbox xCloud.
It's not an awesome thing, but I was having trouble installing. I was like, hey, I got a bigger drive. I want to install all these discs that came with my Xbox that I never really played, because I have to install them and all this crap, right? It wasn't reading the discs, and eventually I got it to see the disc and then download the game instead of taking it off of the disc. I still need a disc to play the game, like to verify or whatever, but it was kind of nice since it wouldn't
you have to leave the game you want to play in the drive?
Yes, because it's a disc game and that's just how it works. But instead of it taking, like, it was getting errors reading off some of the discs, which don't look like they had any problems. Like, I'm wondering if the drive's going in my Xbox because it's like an original model. But eventually, like, I could, when I was on the home screen and clicked on the game, it would take me to the store. It would check the contents of the disc and just straight download the like 50 gigs or whatever that the game was.
Nice.
Instead of taking it off the disc, which is nice because what ends up happening is I think it takes everything off the disc, and then sometimes you'll have another 30 gigabytes of downloads for an update, and it's like, what are we doing here, guys? So, but that was my experience.
That's for the people that pay by the megabyte.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was the thing. Well, the idea was, this should be on the show. I should be recording this. The idea was when they first started, right, that you, like, the disc would get assigned to your account and you wouldn't need the disc afterwards. So, but everybody freaked out because they're like, what do you mean I got to connect with the internet to make this work? Turns out, why the hell would you not connect to Xbox these days? So.
What happens if you live in a cave?
You
don't have the internet.
Then get the original Xbox and 360 and ban. I don't know.
You look at the games anymore. How good is the local content anyway that you're not playing online?
Oh, I've been playing nothing but Assassin's Creed, dude. That's basically where I'm at. I mean, but also, like, how many people are basically just always doing multiplayer games? I mean. Between that,
it's funny because the PlayStation, I only have like 3 games for it, and they're all local because I'm too cheap to pay for 3 online systems per.
Dude, my catalog with gold and everything, it's still, I just kind of had that thought in my head. It was like, man, I already have like a media problem between all, like, I got like, I don't know how many PlayStation 2 games, DVDs, all this stuff, right? And it was like, man, if I had all those games physically that I have assigned to my account on Xbox, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know what I would do. It would be an entire wall at this point.
Mhm.
So, but that's how it works. All right, let's get into it. All right. Hey guys, it's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast episode 501 from the Sorgatron Media Studios here in Pittsburgh, PA. And good news, we just signed a lease. We'll be here another year. Yes!
Congratulations!
Yes! So that is official. We will be here, I think, until at least the beginning of September of 2021 in this studio. It was our first renewal, actually. We've been here for 3 years as of September, so we should celebrate. I don't know. I would have thrown a party. Here we are. Here we are.
You could add a party for episode 500. You could add a party.
You know what? When we get all this clear, we're just going to do a giant makeup party for anything that's happened over the last however long until we're through this mess, right? And we'll just celebrate everything, invite everybody. It'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be a coronavirus vaccination party in the long run. But anyways, whatever that is, whether you heard the voices, of course, with us. He is the gadget guru of Big Bank International, Esquire John Chilla. He's he was tech supporting here before the show. I
turned things off. I turned it back on, and lo and behold.
And hello, Internet.
Worked.
Hello, Internet. Also with us is the Dudders.
Hi, I'm still wearing Mandalorian stuff, even though it's not an official Chemo Tuesday anymore.
There are no more Chemo Tuesdays.
I know. I'm just going to keep wearing Mandalorian Boba Fett stuff now till the end of time on Tuesdays, just to remind me of my time.
There you go. There you go. It would be
Tuesdays.
It's good AwesomeCast garb in the long run. So
it's just AwesomeCast Tuesday, which is. It hasn't been just an AwesomeCast Tuesday in a while.
That's
so
right.
It's exciting.
That's right. Of course, this is the AwesomeCast. Please check out everything on AwesomeCast.com. Hey, I fixed stuff. Because if anybody's going to tell me the stuff that I, the attention to the detail that I have missed on the website is when Rob De La Creta comes back on the show and he let me know about my broken links. So we fixed those things, and you can go over there, awesomecast.com, check out this and past episodes. And actually, we do have a special edition Return of the Awesome Chat. We talked with Potion Low from Carnegie Mellon University and the Novid app that you get on your phone to help with contact tracing through ultrasounds or ultrasonic audio. It was 24 hours ago, and I already forget about it. But you can refresh that. We got a nice half-hour interview with him. Please download that Novid app. You can use it no matter what state you're in. It does not use the Google Apple stuff, and it was a really good conversation we had over there. Check out that. That's in your podcast feed. If you're checking out this episode, it dropped on Monday, so you may have missed it if you usually check in on Wednesday after this drops. And the videos over on our Facebook and our YouTubes as well. Some clips over on Instagram too. But you can go check those out. You can drop us a line at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com. You can hit us up on AwesomeCast on the Twitter, on the Facebook page. We got a wonderful Facebook group. A lot of great discussion over stories that have been coming out over the past week with our awesome chatters. And, of course, you can join us here live every Tuesday across social media for AwesomeCast. That's over on Facebook, where a lot of the conversation and people drop into the chat room, including eventually my mom probably tonight. Also on the Sorgatron Media Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, all over the place. And of course, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast catcher. And wherever you're catching us, if you're catching us live now, whatever that platform is, please give us a like, give us a share, get it out there, get people in here. If you're on the podcast, give it a share, give it a review. We do appreciate it in helping the AwesomeCast crew grow. Also, thank you to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast, our friends at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, and friends at the Fan of the Show level, Michael Fedor at pthmuseums.org, and Dave Podnar. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. You guys can support the show, too, if you dig it, over at patreon.com/awesomecast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week that we all just slipped in there. Let's think back. We were thinking back last week with our 10-year anniversary, and Katie, take a look back. You apparently are taking a look back to 1995.
Yeah, CNET is celebrating their 25 years of, or So they're going back to 1995 and what the tech was in 95, and a much simpler time than what we're dealing with right now. But talking about the Nokia 2110, was like the first with Snake in 97.
Yes.
We had our pagers. Yeah, who didn't play Snake on their phones? That was the whole reason we had a phone, besides using the phone part of it. And then your pagers, how important pagers were for everyone, because you were really cool if you had a pager. The massive CRTs, don't miss those. We're moving those. VHS tape. The desktop computers were still the Dells, the CRT monitors. The compact, here, Chilla. In 1995, a compact Pro Signia desktop, actually this was in 1999, started at $2,699, $2,699. Or about, if it adjusts for inflation, $4,150.
Wow.
So your compact Pro Signia desktop 330. It had CD and floppy disk. We're still dealing with dial-up internet modem, 56K, in case you're keeping track. Cordless landline and answering machines. And it's really funny looking back at shows from the late 90s how important answering machines were to coordinate your plans. Couldn't just tell your friends what were going on. You had to leave a message, let them know where you were at and what's going on. The boombox, which everybody loved, and the Discman. If you had a Discman in your giant pockets, which I feel like Sorg had those pants with the giant pockets that fit a Discman.
Did I? I did. Well, maybe
like
not.
the Jenkos or whatever they were.
Yes.
Maybe not in 1995, but I was very close to I might have been still in my grunge phase in 1995. So it was more about flannels.
Ooh. Cameras with film, 35 millimeter film. Remember some of those? We had to take them to kiosks to be developed. Camcorders, which still had VHS tapes, but with their high 8, mini DV, and VHS-Cs. So there you go. And most importantly, the Nintendo Game Boy.
Yes.
Was a big thing in 1995.
The cornerstone of high technology.
When was the Sega? What was their portable?
The Game Gear.
The Game Gear. When did that come out?
Relatively, because I think it first dropped in 90. Is it 89 or 91? The Game Boy dropped. And
Game Boy dropped, I think,
91.
in 89. Oh, 91.
It was 91, and Game Gear I think relatively dropped the same year, if not shortly after.
Game Gear was 91 in the U.S.
Yeah.
Or North America.
Yeah. And that was expensive. That's the one. That's the one the well-to-do cousins had at Christmas, and so and I had my Game Boy with my Super Mario Land, and they had Mortal Kombat. Yeah. So, but I love these. I mean, this was I forget. I don't think you weren't the one that shared the 9/11 technology look back. I think it was somebody else, Amanda maybe, that did from Bold Pittsburgh. By the way, while I'm thinking of it, Bold Pittsburgh new podcast is now up. Just posted over on sorgatronmedia.com in that feed. They're renewing. If you're on the Bold Nights Out, the show is back. Please go check it out. First episode from Amanda just dropped, I believe, today. I just noticed it. So. But anyways, no, I love these. I don't even think I was on the internet in 1995 yet. We definitely didn't have cable. Like it was like 1996 was the year we figured out technology in my household, for the most part. So as far as
I'm trying to think when we started on the internet, is right when probably when AIM was a thing. Because I remember, and like chat rooms were the cool thing in places. You'd go into a chat room and nobody knows who I am. This is fun.
So this is this is going to be an offshoot discussion probably, but we did not do AOL. It was all local providers for us. Like I think the issue was where we were at. We could not get a local dial-in number for AOL or not Compaq. Well, who am I thinking of?
CompuServe.
Prodigy, any of those. I remember researching those because at this time I'm pretty sure I was getting my computer magazines at the time, looking to build my next computer. We ended up buying it from Radio Shack, so I was aware of a lot of this, but no, yeah, where we were at, we couldn't connect to any of that kind of stuff. But like we found one provider that would work called Nauticom. Pathway or Nauticom, we between those, and that was it. So
what about Net Zero?
Did we use Net Zero? I might have for a minute. We had Earthlink for a minute.
Earthlink,
Mm-hmm.
They were a big one.
That was like the first major provider that had a number for us, and we tried that for a bit. So it was a hodgepodge. I don't know if I've talked about Katie. I don't know if I talked about this on the show before. I had a 56K modem that actually would bring in 2 lines. So it was dual striping 56K lines.
Whoa.
And it would smart drop off if we got a phone call on the main line, because we got the dedicated line for the internet. And it would drop that off and just drop to the 56K. And
wow.
And it was, but then you had to find a provider that supported that. It was high end at the time.
you were rich. You were rich. You had 2 modems, 2 phone lines.
Yo, I saved. I was saving my pennies for that. And that was, I don't know, that was probably like 97, 98 or so. By the time we got that, it was Diamond Multimedia that used to do the sound cards and the old 3DFX cards. Oh man, now you're throwing me back, Katie. What have you done? What have you done? Jeez.
We have time traveled to the past.
Oh, the 3DFX. I got the pure 3D that had the extra 2 megs of RAM. A whole 6 megs. Oh jeez. When you had to go ahead.
My machine, I think we got it. It had 4 meg. I saved up, and I got 4 more, so I got it to 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember wheeling and dealing as I do. And I ended up getting it where I got 4 meg chips, and I swapped them. That and like $100 for one 16 meg DIM.
Yeah.
And it was like $450 for 16 mega RAM back then.
eBay was great for me. I was just buying extra parts off of eBay like mad at the time. Chilla, I just noticed, I don't think you're coming in with the proper microphone.
Oh no!
So if you want to double check that setting real quick, because I'm realizing you're a little more roomy than usual. But thanks, Katie. I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have a stack of technology magazines from like this era. and I was already looking back at the CNET show. I know I've mentioned this on the show. The CNET show on Sci-Fi Channel, that was like, that opened me up to technology and internet like completely. It was the greatest thing to see, like, talking about modems and the internet on television on like Sunday afternoon, those kinds of things. But yeah. Oh, we had good.
Am I less roomy?
Yeah, you are definitely less roomy. So, yeah. But yeah. My mom's actually in there. She was there. We had a shared phone line. We actually had a party line in the early '80s, apparently, where we were at. So, oh boy. Anyways, Chilla, what's your awesome thing?
So my awesome thing of the week is and I don't even remember who makes it now. It is the REIIE H9 Plus. It's a mini keyboard trackpad.
What?
That's and I have it right here for those of you who can see
there you go.
Video.
Okay.
So Carla was like, "Did you get like a Sidekick? What's going on over there?"
That's what it looks like. So
it's like an old. It actually reminds me of like the original Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of taller.
Yeah.
With less of a curved edge.
So to describe it for audio, it's got a keyboard that takes up most of the device. It does, again, looks kind of the size. Hold that up again if you can. so I can describe it for people. It does have like 4 buttons like a controller, but it's like home and volume on the upper right, kind of a trackpad in the top middle, and then like an OK menu D-pad-ish, like a circle, but a D-pad kind of thing on the upper left. That is crazy. Yeah, is it the backlit version that I see tagged here?
It is the back. That's the one I have. And on the inside is on. I turned it around and opened it up.
Yeah,
it has a rechargeable battery.
It looks like a cell phone battery.
Yeah, and then it actually has a spot for the USB in it. And the whole purpose of this device was for my Raspberry Pi.
Oh.
It's I'm only using one USB port, and it gets me by enough to make sure it boots and I get into whatever I'm getting into, and then I've been remoting into it. At some points.
Instead of dragging a full-size keyboard and everything like that, it's just a nice little handy thing to kind of deal with it.
Yep. And then even then, like, I can also... So I loaded up Raspbian. I want to play around with Pi VPN to build a home VPN server. Mm-hmm. But then I've also been messing around with Kodi and RetroPie, and those will boot right in. So like once I get I usually only put like 3 or 4 keystrokes on here, and then I'm doing whatever I'm doing, either remotely or I'm gaming or whatnot. So it's been an amazing experience playing around with the Raspberry Pi and that device. And then the other thing I'll give an honorable mention. If you do use a Raspberry Pi, I highly recommend one of the AC adapters that have an inline power button. So like my USB, like the cable, actually has a power button built into the cable. So I've been tinkering a lot with that over the last 2 weeks.
If you get a package, like I get kind of the all-in-one packages where it's got the case and everything when I buy a Raspberry Pi, and you'll get like basically it's a power supply, and it just comes in with USB. It's kind of like a built-in what you would use for an old Android phone, right? So I basically have to just unplug it. Actually, even the one that's hooked up here that I hardly use anymore, from that testing phase where we had some extra ones for the video feeds, it's hooked up to the power switch in the box that turns off all the video stuff in the studio space here. So that's how I managed it. So I mean, that's the other thing. You could also just have a power strip, right? So, but no, it's nice to have the built-in thing when you can't do that.
When I'm actually thinking about, because I want to use it to VPN back into my house when I'm not home, my thought process is, so I don't have to have the VPN server up and running, putting it on the default boot OS, and then, because I have like 3 OSs booting, or 3 boot things in the menu, making that the default, and then putting it on a remote power switch, and then I can go onto my phone and turn the power on to that device, so it boots up if I ever need to get back in. So you can
say, "Hey G, reboot my RetroPie" or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I'm not in the house.
Yeah.
And then I have remote access to my house.
Wow, that's a lot.
But I don't know if I want to leave a VPN server running all the time either.
True. Wow. Well, my awesome thing is a lot simpler than that, I believe. Well, okay. It's no, it isn't actually in the long run. So recently, didn't we over the last couple of weeks, somebody mentioned on the show about that Pokemon Go guy that had like a grandpa that had like 11 phones or something on his bike in like Japan? Like,
I think we talked about it during some Pokemon update. I don't know if it was at launch, but yeah.
I think it's because the thing that the dual thing that was like League of Legends was announced last week. Is that what we were talking about? It's going to be on the phone. It's going to be on the Switch, crossplay kind of situation. Well, as if the universe and specifically the Verge.com seem to know. I maybe Kim Lyons put in a word for us to check in on this. But how about we got an update? The grandpa is still biking and Pokemoning with 64 phones attached to his bike. I don't know how he attempts to drive with this thing because it's at that point. But this is, 64 phones running Pokemon, and holy crap.
How does he reach the top row? That was my question.
Maybe he's got like a stick, like a stick with the little, smart thingy at the end, right? To touch that. So, so forget what Chilla was trying to set up with his voice activated remote situation. I think Grandpa Pokemon has you beat there.
I think he does too.
Wow.
I'm just envisioning like a yardstick that has like the capacitive touch nub.
Yeah, exactly. How was this guy doing during lockdown? I haven't really.
I wonder if he just mounted it to his wall, because didn't they up the spawn rates and a bunch of other things?
Yeah. I noticed that I'm surrounded by Pokemon. I probably only logged into Pokemon like twice over the lockdown, and it's just like, wow, there's a lot around me right now. That's really interesting. So it's interesting. But hey, if anything's going to survive, it's Pokemon. The only thing that's maybe taking down Pokemon Go a notch is the lockdown. Is you can't go anywhere. It was the thing that got us out of the house, and now we can't. So
you made friends battling the gyms.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we did. Yeah, because it was like, hey friend, that happens to be here. Yeah, no, it was great. I mean,
it was the best time to be alive.
It was like the time where we could see each other and see strangers, and we're all playing the same video game in open spaces, like the Perry Monument that had like 100 people hanging out at Presque Isle. I'd never seen 100 people at the Perry Monument on Presque Isle. That's crazy. And there they all were, just wandering around. You would say, "There's a Jigglypuff over here," and you'd see like 20 people just walking, moseying over this direction. It was just wild. Like that.
Weren't you in New York when something spawned in Central Park?
No, I was not. I don't believe I was. But like the Perry Monument was the biggest one for me. Also, when we were at Myrtle Beach did I ever tell you about this? When we were at Myrtle Beach last year, went down with my mom back in September, and we were walking around the Broadway, on the boardwalk on Broadway, kind of shopping center, kind of boardwalky on a little man-made like shop deal. It really was. It's a lot like Disney Springs, if you're familiar with that in Orlando. It's and we'd be walking, and I'm just like, what's this group doing over here? And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, it's a Pokemon party. They were getting all the spots, and it was just like, it was a group outing, and again, it was like 20 or 30 people just gathering around, and it was mostly dead because it was like the last weekend of the season. Like everything was on clearance and closing off for the season in like mid-September, and we just like happened across in the wild. We happened across a Pokemon party, just moving in a herd, as you do. Oh, I miss those days outside around people. Anyways, speaking of reasons to get out of the house, or you can just stay there and they'll bring it to you. I want to give a shout out to our good friends at Slice on Broadway, right up the street here in Beachview. Of course, 4 great locations all across Pittsburgh. The REIIE sent me a message the other day. The REIIE, one of our co-hosts over on the Wrestling Mayhem show, and also REIIE plays games. He's contributed here before, I believe, a lot of times in our group submissions. But he sent me a picture of that he stopped by some Slice, and I asked if he was in my neighborhood, and I forgot there's 4 great locations all across Pittsburgh, like Beachview, Carnegie, East End, and PNC Park, home of the Pittsburgh Pirates, if they ever play again. But we'll be honest, we don't know if they were really playing to begin with. But all those places, go check that out. Support our friends over there at Slice on Broadway, because in these troubled times, nothing heals like a little bit of pizza. So please go check them out. Thanks a lot for that. Let's see what else is going on. I wanted to give... Oh, my mom has an awesome thing, and I was excited for this, so I'll share this since she's in the chat room. My mom's awesome thing is a Logitech camera. I get a call last night from her, and asking about using the camera and everything, because apparently last night was I think it was my aunt's birthday, and they were having everybody call in to wish her happy birthday as a surprise. So she was figuring out last minute Zoom and the camera, and she shows me if this would be good for her laptop, and it's like it's a Logitech. Looks like it was a C320, like a pretty standard one, right? And then she's like, well, this one be good. And do you remember the old ball cameras, webcams? Like, do they still make them like that? Because that's probably like 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I think there's a couple like I think there's a couple throwback like retro. They still make them, but I don't think it's like. I think it's like a callback.
Yeah. Oh, so throwback webcaminess. Does it also do the 320 by 240 and 10 frames?
You can get like a 720 or 1080p.
Oh,
nowadays.
high end. Gotcha.
High end.
Says the guy that's coming at us in 4K.
4K. You're not going to get it in 4K, but you'll.
You know what? I think I'm finally convinced. I'm going to start recording this show in 1080 finally, after all these years.
For fun.
For funsies, for funsies. I don't know who else are going to be able to see it at this point, but yeah, I might do that.
I wonder if it's possible. I wonder what we could actually use to try to really push me in 4K, because the most I get out of Google Meets.
That's the thing. I can't even get your video in more than 720 because of Google Meets. So I don't want to push it because then we could lose reliability, right? So I'm sure the internet's fine here, but I just don't want to overdo it. But I don't know. And then Katie's just coming from her phone. So
no, I'm laptop today.
Oh, your laptop today.
Whoa, does it look any different?
I don't know. So yeah, no, it's probably about even. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It's all coming out of 720, so who knows? Anyways, we did have one submitted story from Dave Podnar. This was a story. So this was mentioned at WWDC when they were talking about watch updates, and this is another one that my mom's interested in. 9 to 5 Mac had a story on here. Chilla, I don't know if you got into this one about the Apple Watch hand washing detection. And he had a comment like the background of the hand washing detection goes really deep with them. So I'm sad about this because to my knowledge, this comes out in the next watch update, which isn't till fall.
And I also read, and I don't know if it was in that article, but I read somewhere where they've been working on this for like 7 years or something.
Wait, what?
Like this isn't something. I don't think this is something that they just came up with because of COVID.
It's just like a nice time. Like maybe they weren't even going to tell us about it until the release, except for COVID is happening, so they put it out in there to be timely.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw somewhere I thought where, and maybe I'm off, but I swear I saw something where this isn't, like this is something they've been working on for a while. So yeah, that's what he was talking about this going pretty deep. So how it's going to work is it's going to aim to automatically detect when you're washing your hands and to start a 20-second countdown timer with cute animation. I like it tells you cute animation. If it detects that you've stopped washing your hands before the time is up, it politely prompts you to keep going. So there you go. But what it should do, as opposed to having a sign says "Sing Happy Birthday," sing Judas from Fozzy. If you're at a wrestling party, it could actually play a song for me to sing along to. Just work that Apple Music into it, right? That'd be more effective. Maybe embarrassing depending on your song of choice when you're at the bathroom at Sheets. But I think it should do something to measure like, and maybe it does, turn and motion. Did you ever see? So when we started on this fun COVID journey,
that's not the way I stated, but okay.
Did you ever see like the person that took? It was like blue dye or it was like paint with latex gloves, and they showed like just washing your hands and how like you just miss spots in between. Like when they did that, now like when I wash my hands, like I'm washing like up above the wrist because I want to make sure I get all the nooks and crannies.
You want to make sure you wash your watch in the long run, right? because it's going to be collecting.
I
on
guess
there.
so, yeah.
I mean, I started thinking about that. I'm like, how much is the collecting that I'm not getting that's under my wedding ring, and then how much is like in these crevices like around my watch as I'm going, because I'll wash up to here, but not like around that, just like we worry about our phones and everything else that we touch. Katie, what do you think about the hand washing assistance here? Will it help you, or are you already meticulous with this?
I'm not. It's really funny, and I shouldn't admit this anywhere publicly, but once we started talking about how important hand washing was, I was realizing how I wasn't doing a very good job washing certain parts of my hand. I almost said washing. Certain parts.
It's
of
okay.
my
We're
hands.
in Pittsburgh.
I was washing my hands.
It's identifiable.
And it was funny. Like I was like, oh wow, I wasn't doing a very good job. Like especially around my thumb. I'm right-handed, so yes, my left-handed got. It was just weird to really think about things and slow down and go, oh geez, you're not really doing a great job washing certain areas of your right hand because you're so dominantly right-handed. So left hand was definitely slacking in this regard. But I love the idea of this like timing for you, so you don't have to.
It's that corrective behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we need. You need to create new habits, whether it be around health, exercise. Like I mean, that's been transformative for so many people to say, did I fill my rings today, right? Or I got my notification that Missy had made her goal for July or June, and I was like, oh, congratulations. And she's like, I don't know how I did it. I was like, well, maybe it was those 2 shoots where we walked around all day. I don't know. So but that kind of keeps it aware, right? And that's what hopefully this will do, although I'm sure a lot of people will turn it off.
I wonder if they can include it in that weekly summary, almost like screen time. You see like what websites you spent the most time on, or what apps. How many minutes did I spend washing my hands in the last week?
What is your average hand washing time, right? Because that would that gives you a nice curve that you can work with. That say, hey, you were better at meeting your hand washing goals this month. So I don't know. That could be interesting.
I think people underestimate and overestimate time unless you have that, you pay attention. Like if you set a stopwatch for 20 seconds, it's so much longer than you realize. And yeah, so I think it's a great like time training tool.
Especially if you're like in a busy bathroom where you're just like, I need to get out of here and out of people's way.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be that guy's like, why is he washing every crevice up to his elbows? Some of us have to catch a flight. Yeah, that kind of thing.
My watch says I'm not done yet.
They're like, my watch says I'm not. Hold on. I gotta sing Happy Birthday. I gotta start over. However you manage that, apparently. So, oh jeez. Anyways, I feel like I missed. I know there was some other stuff that was in the chat room. But looking back. Oh boy. One more story here before I go throw another shout out here. Katie, as we do, here's another animal. This combines your two kind of stories: Animal Crossing and nudity.
Perfect.
So I love this one that popped up that said, your character in Animal Crossing New Horizons is a never nude. So apparently it was revealed through glitches before, and somebody, I don't know how they hacked into this, but your character model actually has like coverage over the nipple area and the lower area, so it just looks like you got a little like kind of bathing suit going on. Weird dark flesh colored bathing suit going on. I also don't completely understand why this person is this just what they like? Is everybody always wearing a hat in Animal Crossing? Is that why this guy's like bald on the top with like frumps of hair in it?
No, because it's weird. Because you wear, like, if you take off all your clothes, you're in a white tank top and white, I don't want to say boxers, but like boxer-looking shorts. So that's your default as far as.
So this has been a part of this because there was something that there was some new feature that they rolled out. That's the reason that they were finding all of these secrets and everything. Like there's something about you were the Dodo Airport building. Apparently, at one point you were they were going to have you be able to go into it. They abandoned that, and for some reason, if you were to break the code and go into that building, there is actually a desk there. Nothing else, just an untextured desk sitting in the middle of the room. Things like that. But I love that when you kind of hack codes and find like, hey, here's a whole level that was never finished in like Super Mario 64, right?
It's really interesting because one of the things that they hacked into, this is a little while back, was you were able to go out into the water. Somehow they were able to get themselves out into the water. On tomorrow, starting July 1st, you will be able to actually go into the water on Animal Crossing. It's part of one of the updates, is you're going to be able to swim in the water. So
it's like it was an unfinished thing that somebody accidentally stumbled on, perhaps?
That's what I'm wondering.
I can see that. Like little bits of those code are in there. Somehow it got activated with somebody. They did something weird. So I saw that story, and my response I wanted to be was, when are we allowed to get into the wrestling ring that you built to actually do some more than just lay and roll around like it's a bed? Like that would be great. That's what we need, because if there's anything, Animal Crossing professional wrestling, and I see that your video was still getting some comments this week. Somebody was asking how you got your wrestling ring, entire wrestling arena over on the YouTube.
Well, what's funny is now we're into the other show you're on. You do. My niece got a new neighbor, and he's wearing a luchador mask. His name is Stinky. He wears a luchador mask. He has a corner ring post in his house because they come, when your neighbors move in, they come with their pre-assigned stuff. Yeah. The wallpaper is my wrestling wallpaper, and he's got the bell too. So this is Stinky's domain.
The Stinky's domain.
So Stinky's a luchador wrestler.
For a moment when you started telling me this, even though I know we're talking about Animal Crossing, I'm thinking it's like the physical neighbor at home. His name is a kid named Stinky that runs around in a luchador mask, which would have been my friend in high school or elementary school, or maybe me. But that's awesome. That's great. I love it. I was sad to see there was a story this week that and I don't know why this is a correlation, especially considering how wild things are. Because of Animal Crossing success, supposedly Nintendo is pulling back on mobile games. I don't. What you were doing really good with mobile games. Animal Crossing is an unprecedented blockbuster because of circumstances. Let's be honest about this. Like, it was probably going to do pretty good, but like you had the world kind of in your favor at that point, right?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Even if you just used mobile to get more people over to the Switch, or even how many people, the downloads for Animal Crossing, I re-downloaded Animal Crossing Pocket Camp just to feel kind of included, because it's impossible to get a Nintendo Switch, and I have other concerns. It seems like an accessibility point, and I don't know. Also, I don't know what else was announced. I think this was the course of the experiment, maybe, for them. And they're just like, they're being Nintendo about it. So either way, we got Mario, we got Pokemon, which I know is not entirely a Nintendo product, and we got Mario Kart on my phone. I'm happy. Would be nice to have some Zelda, but you had Dr. Mario. Yep. You had Mario Run. You had Mario Kart.
Yep. There's some
I was hoping for them to pull something sooner or later with Zelda in there.
And I thought there was something half announced. There was also a couple other strange Japanese RPGs that came out. Fire Emblem, I think, has a game. Katie, you were going to say?
Oh, I think with Nintendo, and especially with Animal Crossing, there's a percentage of people who play a game like Animal Crossing or any video game that do everything involved with the game. And there's a bigger percentage of people who just play it when they can. And then, suddenly we've switched the percentages to people doing all the things in the game because they have time now, to the people who are only doing a handful because they're still maybe working or, doing things in the world. So now they've like exhausted all these like things that were supposed to be exciting for a long period of time. Like we need something new all the time now with Animal Crossing, as opposed to like a slower rollout. I think they've had to add things a lot faster than they were anticipating.
And maybe that's led to some of these glitches that we've seen, like the accidental swimming and things like that, right? So, I mean, it's not just the thing you get on the card anymore. What was I saying before the show? I was installing some of the discs on my Xbox and realized that the update of a 50, you install 50 gigs off of the disc, but then there's another 32 gigs of an update coming at you, and it's just like, what are we doing here? It just doesn't. Physical media doesn't make sense with these anymore. So it's incredible. It's incredible. Well, any other Animal Crossing updates? I guess the big update is the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, we'll have a big update for you next week.
Oh, fantastic. Looking forward to it. Well, guys, in the meantime, we've been trying to update a lot of people around here through Sidekick Media Services, housed right here in Sorgatron Media, and will be for the next year, thanks to our new lease agreement. Sorry, I'm really excited about that. Listen, I'm looking for any positivity these days, in the fact that I know I'm here for another year just helps so much right now. No, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're helping a lot of people out. We're working on some video content for social media through several clients, as well as currently in the process of retrofitting a church to be ready to go online with their services in the coming month. Get them off of those dreaded Zoom calls for their services, and go live from that big building. So a lot of stuff going on there. Check out what's going on over at Sidekick Media Services. I need to drink more coffee. SidekicksMediaServices.com. We can be the sidekick to your superhero project. And man, it was a big month in June, getting back to things locally, since we can't go anywhere like we would usually be doing in June. But looking forward to a lot of the projects that we have going on here lately as well. Go check it out, sidekickmediaservices.com. Okay, Chilla, what is... From video games to spreadsheets, Chilla, what's the excitement on Google? Chilla?
What is that? My article?
Oh, is it not yours?
Oh, well, it was me.
Oh, it was you. I'm sorry. I misread the names. I'm sorry. Katie, tell us about the exciting world of spreadsheets.
Hey, let's talk about Google Sheets. Google Sheets is awkward, but I still love it because it's part of Google Suites, and anybody can use Google Sheets. It sounds like some sort of weird story. But now, so one of the updates for Google Sheets is it's going to be able to recognize what you're doing and make suggestions. For example, if you're putting in, they use the example of attendees' office address and like the opening to the email, they'll realize what you are starting to type and make suggestions, kind of like how in our Gmail, it would make suggestions for the next word to help you complete sentences, because you usually say something a certain way, which is fun once you train it, I think. But it's the same thing with Google Sheets. So you're going to be able to do that. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that they're actually going to start making some updates to Sheets, because it is kind of clunky. And they're also, the second new feature that's kind of a big deal that's going to be coming up is a smart cleanup, which can help you clean up your data by finding duplicate rows and formatting issues, which is something they've been missing out on for quite a while, because it's nothing more annoying than trying to figure out, like, for example, I was just working on a project and I had to alphabetize a whole list just to see duplicates, because there's no way to like find and delete or find and show, where you're having multiples and some issues with your data. And I think the last big thing, the other thing was the connected sheets. Sorry, I'm not used to having this on my laptop, so I look like I'm pointing at the screen. This is so funny. I look like I'm staring intently. But connected sheets, which has the big query data warehouse within Sheets, so it's making it more accessible to people. So you're not having to be an expert in SQL or any programming language. So it's able to get that big data analytics to anybody in the company instead of just specific people, or, if you're a smaller company, you may not have access to something like that.
So you're dropping all that in SQL was just kind of like a giant spreadsheet kind of situation from what I remember, that little bit of programming in college. But so that just centralizes it and kind of, so the Sheets always good at databasing. like as an accessible database platform previously?
I think so.
Okay.
But it wasn't as good as Excel was. It never was an Excel. And it just lacked a lot. And there was nothing, for example, with, I believe it's Numbers. Yeah, Numbers. Yeah. On the Mac. It's still, Numbers is like, it's Excel, Numbers, and then Sheets is down here.
Something like Excel, you could draw information out of a database in dynamic ways, right? And it just, Sheets was never up to that. Like, I remember using things like Microsoft Access to do things like that, like 15 years ago, for instance. So those were the days.
I think on the database side, I think even Access still has Excel beat in some, like the whole table relationship. You're really probably not going to put that across multiple tabs.
We're getting some heady database nerdiness here.
So I'll tell you what, I actually used Sheets more than I ever would have thought I would, based on when we got married. We used Sheets because we could both edit the spreadsheet at the same time to do our mailing list. And it was odd because back then, and I just looked it up to see if there's a way to do it today, you couldn't mail merge to do like mailing labels. So I had to do everything in Google Sheets and then bring it over to Excel to then print my mailing labels in Word. But now it looks like Avery, the major manufacturer of mailing labels, has a Sheets add-in that lets you do your mail merge to create a bunch of mailing labels. Nice. So even Sheets has add-ons, which I thought almost like a plugin, which is pretty cool.
I can see this. I mean, Microsoft went to the cloud. I mean, I think that makes people look more at Sheets as being. I mean, Google is so persistent in so many platforms for companies right now. So it was a matter of time for something like, you've seen your AV integration and anything like this. Podnar is excited for these updates because now this is exciting. Sheets needs to get a little more supercharged, and it was always, like Numbers. It was that thing, hey, we provide a spreadsheet. If you need pretty basic spreadsheets, here they are. That's what I use when I have to kind of pull together an estimate on things. I can put your items of a project in there, links if it's equipment or anything like that, and I can do. I mean, I'm doing simple. I just use it for simple math, basically. I need a list of things that will add. And then I'm need to put this column and add them up over here. That's all I need. Just that. That's just it. And Sheets is it for me. So, all right, enough about spreadsheets. The real game. Chilla. Apparently, Apple. This is a rumor. I want to state this is a suspicious
more than the rumor. I'm interested in your opinions.
Okay.
And Ron Crazy Kraus and I have had this discussion. So there's a rumor that Apple is not going to include the power adapter, potentially the USB cable, and headphones in the iPhone box. And my question is, should I care? Now, here's my theory. So I can probably go around my house and dig up old boxes that still have the power brick and the cable in them.
Right.
For this reason. The power brick, I've moved almost all to wireless charging. So the power brick is pretty much, for the number of power bricks I have, is useless. And when I travel, I have like a different branded power brick that has like 4 USB ports on it. So because in a hotel, there's only so many available plugs, unless you're going to start unplugging their lamps and stuff to actually plug stuff in.
Yep, they hate me.
I bring a surge protector with me.
Me too.
So
and sometimes you still got to unplug shit to get to it to do that.
Yeah,
it's just like, come on.
So the power brick to me, okay, I'm not going to use it anyway. I don't care. The headphones, I think I still have a bunch of them in the cases. If someone's upset if they don't get headphones with their next iPhone, If you're really that upset, let me or Kraus know. We think we have a couple extra in boxes. And then the cord.
Mm-hmm.
So everywhere where I want to plug in, the wall plug is too far away from where I want the phone to be. So I have to go out and buy another cord anyway because I'm buying like 10-foot cords online.
Chilla. Okay. Yes, we get it. Any of us that have had iPhones probably have these cords. But what if you're a first timer? What if you just opened up the iPhone for the first time and it has none of these things in there? I remember the $100 PlayStation Classic Mini?
Mm-hmm.
You know what it didn't include? A power brick. It literally included a USB cord that was supposed to power it, but nothing to plug that into. Where are you going to plug in your game console in the TV? Are there spare USBs typically around the TV? Chilla, I don't mean you, because of course you probably have a million of them over by your TV because everything is Chilla mode. So it built to spec and everything, right? Not to mention Xboxes and PlayStations that all have like stuff you can plug into. But which also the idea of plugging a PlayStation into an Xbox just delights me right now to power it. But this was, and granted, I paid $25 for the PlayStation Mini, but if I paid $100 for a PlayStation Mini and it did not include the wall plug to power it, I got a problem. Okay. Now you just spent, let's say, $600 on your first iPhone. You know, I think that's the lower end one, right? Maybe down to $400. And you got it home and you do not have anything that plugs into it because it's Lightning. Are the new ones? The new ones aren't USB-C yet, are they?
No,
they're still Lightning. There's Lightning. Even if you're like, I got new laptops and stuff, you still don't have the Lightning cable. You still need to get that. And then you're dropping another $20 or $30 for that because it's Apple. So
what if they're doing this to save them from raising the price of the device by $50?
But that, well, it's another $50. You'll drop another $50 on the things you need. I mean, and again, it is persistent. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
You know, probably there's a survey and says, hey, people are barely use this. People are like chilling, have their bricks and blocks.
Well, I'm also wondering with the new, if you have a newer laptop or newer other devices that you're plugging it into. Mm-hmm. Now they have to give you the USB cable with the USB-A with the C adapter, and that's what that's what I've noticed
on the C and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me started.
That's what I noticed when I opened up the one Pixel 3A. Like I felt bad for Google. It was like, here's this cable and here's the adapter if you need it to be USB-C, mm-hmm. and here's the power. I'm like, I don't need all of this. But so I feel like they're also just, people were just tossing things in the bin.
The other thing is, you're going to buy the iPhone anyways in the long run, so they can do whatever they want. Katie, what do you think?
I'm not that. I'm just like, I don't have much of an opinion on this. I'm sorry.
Would you be upset if you had no cores in your next iPhone upgrade?
I don't know, because one, the headphones they gave me last time apparently stink, so I don't care about those anymore.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Let's reframe this. Would you be upset if your parental unit, mother, father, whatever, received an iPhone and it's the both of you, and you know, open it up and says, "How do I plug it in and charge it?" That's my that is your legitimate concern. I think,
that
right?
is a legitimate concern.
Yes.
That might not be ours, but first time.
Maybe I wouldn't care if they didn't get a pair of headphones.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the issue, and I'm sure it's good reason. Plus, you know, Apple's going to push that envelope of profitability. So, holy crap! It's 8:00 already. Well, anyways. Let's see. Real quick, what else do we got here? Let's see. We already talked about spreadsheets plenty. Waze will let you display your moods in the app with a new update, but it was unclear whether the moods will be seen by other people. I hope they will be. Personally,
but the moods that they have, I've just updated the app on my phone. The moods they had were the same moods they had before. where you could select where you were angry. Do you remember if you went down in your options, you could select moods before?
No, I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, so you could select moods before, but they're a little bit more animated than they were. I mean, like they look a little bit different. They're not as plain as they used to be. Like
Okay.
angry was just red. But yeah, you can
okay.
see the moods. Like I could go on the app now and see how people are, but the moods are kind of like character choices versus like, how are you feeling today?
By the way, on the note of Waze, Waze apparently just found all the railroad crossings in Pittsburgh and is letting me know about them. The track is 20 feet that way on the road. Guys, everything is a railroad crossing here. Everywhere. I'm sorry. Sorry, I had to get that out. It's not even marked the whole way down. What are we doing? Okay, anyways. It's users. I get it. Amazon will let you co-watch Prime videos with friends in the U.S. Riz let us know that this watching movies from Prime on Twitch was already a thing. So,
watching videos.
Apparently, you can take.
So, are you allowed? But are you?
Yeah,
what if I'm watching someone's Twitch and I don't pay for Prime?
I think it's just because it's a Prime thing. They'll let you do that via Twitch because it's going to have all the bells and whistles on top of it and people flashing money gifts when you subscribe or something. And I mean, that's not the way I want to watch the Goldfinch, but okay. By the way, shout out to some friends of the show. Documentary popped up on there. Go Big or Go Home. It's about female wrestlers training here in Pittsburgh, and it takes place about the beginning of 2018, and several girls that we've had on the Wrestling Mayhem show are a part of that, so go check that out. It's a cool, just over an hour documentary, kind of some fun stuff on some stuff that was going on over at McKeesport that isn't anymore. But anyway, somebody's got Waze open out there. Maybe it's me.
Yeah, actually, I just opened it because I want to see all the railroads.
I've had it on. What else real quick I wanted to touch on before we get out of here? Facebook's working on VR glasses. Of course they are. We talked about Never Nudes. And Google is adding virtual backgrounds to Meet for Education. So for education, not G Suite, right? I thought that was kind of interesting and it felt distracting, but it was a good point. Who was it? Was it one of these? Somebody was saying something about if they were, Rob was actually saying if you, imagine kids with less than ideal home situation that feel ashamed of their background, what's going on back there, and want to kind of cover up. That makes a lot of sense. So it's just interesting. I thought it seemed interesting that they were starting with education, but I guess they're probably just making a big play for education right now and have to start somewhere, right? So
what's interesting, most people that I know that did some form of homeschool, I didn't hear anyone that wasn't using G Suite or like Google Classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So and as a parent, I totally get it, because like I was walking around behind even like interaction, like I don't want to be distracting to them, but I have to go through that room.
I mean, could you imagine, Dad, stop running through in your underwear again?
Exactly.
I'm doing algebra.
Or like I would see like parents, like some kids were at their kitchen table, and like just where they're situated, it's like the parents in the background washing dishes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hear them, but you can see them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like the comment about, people that feel bad about, whatever in their home, but also just the distraction for 5 and 6 year olds and 7-year-old. I mean, the shiny squirrel completely can disrupt an entire classroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Very quickly.
I mean, we've all been in bad Zoom meetings, right? Or even this show, and been distracted by things. Let's be honest about this. I mean, somebody had to have a Baby Yoda and an ad every week on the show, and we all kept looking at that.
Well, I turn off the ceiling fan behind me because I feel like that's super annoying.
Oh yeah.
If you see that in video. Because I've seen people with things like fans and stuff in the back room, and you can't just because there's something moving. You're like,
hey, WWE doesn't mind it in their Performance Center videos, right? Right above the entrance is the one of the big like literally the brand name is Big Ass Fans. Yeah. So there's that. I am definitely concerned by when virtual back rooms come for my co-hosts on the Wrestling Mayhem show, because I've been fighting soundboards for years on that show, guys. It could be interesting, but I also saw somebody try to use a virtual background on one of these shows in the last week, and their computer was not up to snuff, and it did not look good. It was like a weird cutout around it. I'm like, hey man, I don't think so. we're not doing that tonight. So. All right. Well, hey, what we are going to do is close this show because we have more podcasting to do tonight, and we got your fill of awesome for this week. Katie, you have been updating people on your journey, which now is a different portion of your journey. Where can people follow up on that?
If you're on Instagram, Kate Marie PGH. I'm also on Facebook a little bit more, but not too much. But yeah, usually, and then. Dudders on Twitter. I'm here and there. I pop
there you
up
go.
Often.
Hi guys. Yep.
Hi, everything.
And of course, John Chilla, Chilla on the Twitter.
John Chilla on the Facebook.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again. If you haven't checked it out on this feed, if you're catching us on the podcast or on this video platform, if you're catching us, it should have debuted on Monday, our talk with the founder of the Novid app for the COVID-19 tracker using Bluetooth and ultrasonics, different than the API that you heard about. We asked him about that. We asked him about implementation. It's a very promising app, and please go check that out and the incredible work they're doing over there with that group. And he's a math professor out of CMU. So really good conversation we had with Potion Low over there. And so thank you for that, and please check out everything, and check out the new shows. Like I mentioned, Bold Pittsburgh is back on the podcast side, and also shouts to our friends Comic Book Hit, Thrifty, Bardic Mystery Tours, all kinds of awesome geeky stuff over at sorgatronmedia.com for you guys to check out. And you can subscribe to the Sorgatron Media master feed over on your iPod? Yes. On your iPod type podcast device, whatever that may be. Thank you, everybody. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. All right. Thank you, live stream. We will be back on the Wrestling Mayhem show in about 50 minutes. We'll see you then.
Smart